Mr. York, how you doing, sir?
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I am good. I was actually singing your praises before you got on, just telling people a little bit about you, saying how you helped me out throughout my career, and I've learned a lot from you. So I've been looking forward to this conversation.
I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. For those,
I'm not good at these interviews, so
oh, it's
gotta
all
take your
good.
time with me. My
No,
anxiety kicks in.
we just gonna have a regular conversation like we always do. But
Yes.
just to give the people a little bit of background. I mean, you've managed everybody from Biggie, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, Camron, produced countless films, worked with, consulted, and started your own labels. Plus, again, you're one of the smartest people that I personally know in the industry. Obviously, 2020 has been a very wild year.
Very interesting, yeah.
Very interesting year,
Very
yes.
interesting.
But
Like
what we
I put up a meme about 2020, like 2000 to 2019, that's the textbook. And
yeah.
2020, the textbook's like this thick,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that
You
one.
saw that, right?
I saw that one there. I've
But
been
it's great.
following you. I've been following you for a while, but
Yeah.
through this pandemic, I've been getting a lot of good memes and knowledge and information from you as well. But
Yeah.
before everything got a little crazy, what were you working on?
Um, uh, a couple of TV shows. Obviously, we're working on a few TV shows. I was rolling out some new talent.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously working on with Cam on the Paid in Full TV show. It's not a
Right.
sequel; it's a TV show.
Yep.
And obviously the Cam documentary was coming. Fulton Street,
Mm.
the story. Also, that we're doing, me and Un's doing together as a scripted TV show, which is based on the real behind the scenes of what happened within that 1988 to 2005, Biggie story,
Yeah.
the mafia, everything behind that, the Fulton Street. So we're working on that. A couple of a couple of additional documentaries, a couple of movies. An infrastructure project here in Atlanta, another
Yeah.
project. It's just stuff. It's just like you spinning. And what's funny about it is everything kind of, weirdly enough, the pandemic affected everything but specific things, which was interesting to me because it just kind of like derailed all the tours and got
Right.
rid of like the whole entertainment side of the business. And you found out, like me and my brother was talking, he was like, man, we found out that 70% of our portfolio was non-essential, right?
Wow.
And that was very interesting, right? And it was an awakening for me. And I was like, you know what, I got to start pivoting a little bit more, right? I got to pivot
Right.
because
Right.
at the end of the day, all of our business became non-essential. Right.
Mm.
D Nice found a way to make our business, shout out to my brother D Nice,
Yeah.
essential, in which he became like, talent and a DJ and a personality on social media, but and gave us a way out of this quarantine. But, I looked at my entire portfolio and I was like, wait, I only got 30% that's essential.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta change my perception, right?
Right. Right.
Change what I'm
Absolutely.
doing. So
So talk about that adjustment process. How have you been transitioning into those essential businesses or services? And it's so funny that you said that because when Cam did that interview, thank you for setting that up,
yeah,
by the way, he was talking about that. And it
yeah.
was crazy that he was talking about like making a toilet paper business back in the fall and everybody was laughing at him. But
yeah.
now he's like,
Now it's like,
look what's going on now.
Yeah.
So what pivots are you looking at if you care to share?
Well, I'm not going to share everything that we're
right.
doing, but,
obviously,
there's a major project that's essential that I've been working on, and I really began to I put that to the forefront of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where before, I was like, well, I'm going to get my movies out first, so get this, that became the essential business for me. Became the thing that I brought to the forefront, which was that particular business itself.
Gotcha.
But the pivot is easy for me because I'm a homebody. I don't really care to be outside.
Right. Yeah.
The
I feel
best
you.
thing about the quarantine is everybody else was inside, so you can get people on the phone. Right.
Yeah.
And they couldn't wait to pick up.
Right.
Because they was bored out of their mind. So I was able to cut a lot of deals during this time, within the times that I had available, because obviously I was sick sometimes, but when I was freed up, I had the ability to really, cut a lot of good deals and sit down and really rethink everything, right? And that's what I look at the music industry and say is like, hey, artists, you realize when a pandemic came, if your business was 80% clubs and tours and being outside, you lost millions of dollars. You have to reshift. Like everybody's got to begin to reshift. And, I started looking at specific businesses that was driven purely by online, you know, social media style businesses, stuff like that, that I was like, you know what? Because we're going to get hit with another pandemic, right? We're going to get something else. It's going to be another surge. There's going to be, you know, social distancing is still going to be in effect. So for me personally, I was like, you know what? I got to change myself and pivot to something that I think that is more essential and prepare for this, so that outside is not always what I rely on to make money, you know?
That makes a lot of sense. So let me ask you this, going forward, obviously, you know, you're saying there's another pandemic that's going to hit. That's what a lot of experts are saying. The music business and society as we know it is not going to be the same. Everybody say, oh, I can't wait for things to get back to normal and open up. But
new normal.
The new normal, exactly.
Yes.
So how do you feel like the music business and the film business are going to be different going into this new normal?
Well, I think that what people, again, like I was just alluding to earlier, a little bit before you asked that question, is I feel like the music business, any artist that has created their entire income on, I'm going to the club and I'm booking every weekend, I'm touring. If that's your majority of your income, then you need to shift, right? Because no matter whether when they lift this quarantine, which they're doing, I know Governor Kemp just lifted restrictions on touring and restaurants and even clubs just today.
Right. Yeah.
People are going to come outside, right? But it's never going to be the same, right? It's not going to be the same amount of people. So everybody's got to start looking at, when you do deals with venues, because venues are going to always adjust. They're going to be smarter. When you do venues deals, be aware that they're going to probably have a live streaming component to it, because they have to find a way to offset the loss in audience that they're going to get, right?
Right.
A lot compiled with a recession that we're in, which is, we haven't even felt that yet, because right now we have trillions of dollars in propped up money.
Yeah.
Once that runs out is when you're going to really feel the recession, right?
Right.
And so clubs, bars, live performance halls, people are going to be afraid on one side. On the other side, you're going to have people, just people that can't afford tickets. And so they're going to need to set up live streams or some way of sending things inside a home. So artists just have to be smarter about what they do and how they give away the intellectual properties. They have to be smarter and start doing stuff that is related to social media, or building platforms that are going to pay. And there's a few of them out there, Cameo, Fanmio. There's a few cool ones out there that allows you to do live performances through social media or through some kind of platform that you control. That's what I would tell them to do. Also start looking at things you can sell online, right? Products, stuff like services, information, whatever you can do. I start getting back into that website that sells your products, right?
Right.
That's important, so that it doesn't require, again, to go outside.
Right.
And don't just sell T-shirts, sell toilet paper and sell soap.
No, that's real. That's real.
Let's be honest. It's essential, right?
Do you ever think that we will get back to that point where artists were getting these six-figure deals for these festivals and stuff? Because I'm not gonna lie, like, I enjoyed the festivals, but it was getting a little inflated. It was getting hard to book acts, especially for smaller venues or for even radio stations to do their radio shows and stuff. But so do you think that's ever going to come back, or do you think that it's going to bring it back down to what it was?
I think that it was already kind of going to fall under its own weight anyway, because it was really top heavy anyway.
Yeah.
So I think this pandemic has exposed really the kinks in the system, because when you're running into stuff like South by Southwest, it doesn't produce one South by Southwest event, and they have to release a third or half of their staff. It tells you that they were already exposed to this problem anyway. Same thing with Coachella canceling recently. The fact that they had to release that large staff tells you that they were exposed, right? They were already ready. So they're all one concert away from closing their doors. So that weight at the top was going to come down anyway.
That's real. Right? That's real.
That's the truth on that.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. Let's shift for a second, because you've been very active on speaking out on social injustice, not just with police brutality, but in corporate and political America as well. And obviously, your years in the business, in both film and music, you've seen that we're the talent a lot of times, but we're not the ones that are making the decisions. We are not the ones that are cutting the checks and making these budgets. They're basically dictating what we're going to do. So one, why do you think there's a lack of diversity in the music business? first and foremost, and two, how do we change that, especially with a moment like right now, or a movement right now that we're going through?
I mean, so there's two things, right?
Yeah.
The artists have to want to change.
Mm.
And if they can sedate you, or they can placate you and say, I'll give you $10 million and you go for it, they don't have to change, right? If artists are in this mindset that, oh, they just gave me $5 million, because you're in a world now, you understand this next generation, which I'm impressed by them, by the way they're handling this social justice issue. Like they've done in 2 weeks what we haven't done in 10 years, right?
That's real.
Which I got to give them respect for that. Like I was blown away by the work they did on the streets, right? I was, you know,
and still going, because a lot of people thought it was like, oh, it's only going to be a weekend, or it's going to be a week, but they're still going out there.
Maybe it's the curse of all their parents not wanting to pay them attention and putting them on Adderall or Prozac, but they're focused. Like, yo, I am impressed by them. Like I bow down to this next generation on their resilience. And they're going at this. You know, the second part of it is again, you got conglomerates, right? You have these big conglomerates, right? And they're giant banks, right? They all own each other. You don't have 40 majors.
That's right.
You don't have a bunch of, but you know, there was when I got into the business, it was 30 independent labels, 40 independent major labels, right? Yeah. And now you got 3. Yeah. Right. And pretty much what they are is giant bank people on top to just watch the numbers, right? And keep the numbers managed a certain way. It's this, when I first started in the business at 19, 20 years old, the chairman of the record companies are the same exact people today. Yeah. Right? So the point of the matter is that has to change for it to change. So the demand for change has to be also truly inside the creators. That's where it comes from. If you don't, we didn't take anything less than a joint venture. We didn't take nothing less than a P&D. We forced that on them. Right. But then eventually it was like the industry lost a lot of money. So they started changing the system, and then the money just came back like 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago. Right. So everybody's just happy to get a check, and they're not understanding intellectual property at a level they should understand it to be. That's real. So again, they're not going to change up there. Right. It's got to come from the bottom, and they have to force. So I'm seeing, you know, executives making change, and I don't want that to stop. Like really say, no, I'm not taking $10 million. I want 70%, like the Dame Dashes used to do, like Jacob Yorks used to do, like the P. Diddy's used to do, like the L.A. Reeds used to do, right? Man, you can keep that money. Give me, I want my masters to revert, like Michael Jackson taught us. Right. When he bought half of Sony, leveraged himself into half of Sony Publishing, controlled 100% of his intellectual properties. When he taught us that, we all knew we needed to do that, but it has to come from us. Ownership. Yes, the ownership has to come from us. You know, or go out and raise your own money, stay independent, and do it yourself. Because a lot of people think they need the majors. You really don't. I was going to ask you that too. I was going to ask you, because me and you have these conversations about, especially now, the impact that streaming and the digital world has had on like hip hop and artists and music being able to promote them all themselves. So speak on that. Why do you feel like, you know, they don't need a major like they used to? Because I mean, aside from distribution, right? Because distribution is interesting, right? But there's enough indies out there that can collect international for you. Right. Because you know, a lot of which people don't know very well, is a lot of the distro kids and all those guys have a harder time in collecting international streams than the majors can, right? Right. Because the majors have more leverage power. But other than that, there's enough people unemployed that will do indie work for you. Most records, when it comes to, especially hip hop, #1 selling music, sells online first anyway. It breaks through social media first anyway. It breaks through digital formats anyway. And so you have the ability to hit those digital formats yourself. Right. YouTube gives you an access. Spotify gives you access. All these guys give you access. There's enough indie playlists out there to see if your record really, really, really is going to respond. Once you figure that out, then that's when you go in and say, well, let me get on internet or go on there and say who's who, and they can get into your Instagram page, because if you see a record reacting as the head of rap for Pandora, you're going to respond to that record. Absolutely. And say, who are you? You know, if Shaka sees it at Spotify, he's going to respond.
Yep.
right? So this is happening across all platforms. If they find out, they're going to respond to you, talk to you, and get you active. So at that point, when that starts responding on its own, the majors are going to reach out to you yourself.
Yeah.
And you can say, no, thank you, I'm good. I'll take distribution. Let me get some funding. And then look around for executives that have been in the business long enough that knows how to open this stuff up and do it that way. Like you can't have ownership if you're not looking for ownership. If you're looking to bling, and you're looking for putting dollar bills on your chest, then you're not thinking ownership. And the problem with that is, unfortunately, the younger generation cares about how it looks and not what it is. And I know that as a fact because I represented a lot of people that do that all day. No, we have to do this for clout. And I'm saying, so you're 20 now. So when you're 25, when you're 45, clout is worth driving an Uber at 45 and blowing through $10 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to start redefining what's important and what's not important within ourselves. Or guess what? The masses at the top will stay at the top. They'll keep making $40 million, $50 million a year.
Yeah.
And they'll just keep playing musical chairs with what artists is around.
That's real right there. You spoke about something, talking about like when artists get themselves going digitally, the majors will come after them. And another thing that we've talked about is sometimes when that happens, or a lot of times when that happens, there's a lack of artist development.
Yes.
So another issue that comes about is we're having all these artists pop up, but they don't have the presentation skills. They don't know how to perform. They don't know how to do interviews. They don't know how to talk to radio folks. How do we change that as well? Because again, you're talking with some majors or certain A&Rs, all they're looking at are data sheets, and they're saying, "Oh, this person is popping off. Let me sign them." And then once they're done with them, they're on to the next one. How do we change that?
You change it either, you actually find a real manager, right? A real manager, not this is my homeboy. He goes in and collects money for me. A manager, right? A manager that knows how to say, here's how do you develop an artist. Puts you, like I go through with this with artists all the time. I said, you need vocal training. They go, I don't sing. It has nothing to do with singing. It has something to do with your stamina also, right?
Right.
It has something to do, you should go and work out every day. You should do all this stuff. And they go, I don't need to do all that. But then they get on stage and they sound like, right? And they don't understand why. Or they're 3, 4, 6 months in and they're getting strep throat, they're getting all these issues and they don't understand why. And so again, find a real manager, right? Not homeboy managers. Homeboy managers sound good and you might trust them and that be your man and you get control over them. But find real managers, because if you look at artists that are really doing well right now, like I mean literally real artist development, they have really strong teams, like real managers behind them. Like there's a lot of them. And I don't mean just streaming music and has a hit record. Like if you look at the people behind, like look at what Coach K and is doing over there at Silent Foundation. Yeah, I mean he's a real artist development guy. He is. Right? Look at TDE. That's a real artist development guy, right? If you look at all these guys that are in this business, look at what Cash is doing. Like these are guys, by the way, have been around for a very long time. They're not some guys that's been around 5 years, right? Look at Cortez and what they're doing over there at Blueprint and all of that. These guys are established guys that's been in the business 20 plus years that understand artist development. Their artists are coming out of the boom, explosion. Irvin Azoff with his label of artists, right? Look at Scooter Braun and his roster of artists coming from look at what they're doing. Those are the biggest artists, right? They're the biggest artists in the world, right? You're right. And so people come in and say, well, I got my homeboy, he could do what you do because I could get in touch with a producer. Yes, you can get in touch with a producer. That has nothing to do with whether you have true artist development and have longevity for the next 20 years, right? And people don't understand that Drake's been around 15 years. Drake is a well-developed talent, has been acting since he was 7 years old. He's come from TV. He's literally the epitome of artist development. That's why he's so successful, right? Lil Wayne, by all intents and purposes, is considered an old school rapper, but still puts out records today and it's relevant.
Very relevant. Yep.
And that's because he's established, right? Look at, The Weeknd's been putting out music for those teams are very strong and very well developed, right? And that's important instead of just, a lot of people say, I just put out music. Because I ran into that with artists like, well, I got in touch with this producer and I put out a record. Yeah, that's fine. But who's guiding your career? Who's,
right.
Who's saying, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that? Who's calling for this let me call poster child real quick at the
Right.
right time, at the right moment to set up that interview.
Right.
Right? Because that's the difference between streaming a shit ton of records and being a long-term artist.
That's right.
That's the difference. People say, well, Jacob, how did you know Gucci would be a long-term artist? Because I developed him for years.
Yep.
Right? I put him through an artist development. We used to argue in the studio when he was making his first album, Trap House.
For real? Damn.
I used to stop him and I would go, listen, I don't like what this sounds like, bro.
Yeah.
He'd be like, man, I like it. I'm like, chill out. Here, I'll pull out Machiavelli by Pac and say, listen to his cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Now listen to the way he puts the words and the beats and this. And I'll pull out, Me Against the World by Pac. And I'll put out, Big records. Like listen to Big and how he started his records, how he made sure you can be gangster and be on a commercial sounding beats. Like Big don't matter. It don't matter how commercial the beat is. Big always started with something real ignorant. Right? To just maintain it. So I said you could do that and do this. And then I would talk, but Jacob, this is the South, this is this. Okay, well let me go get Project Pack. Right. I can play it. I'll go get Outkast records. I'll go get this person and I'll show them the beat. And he learned that. And one thing about him, he learned it. He went through we took him on the road, through the promo tour process, through the artist development. And that's why he's from 2005 still exists in 2020. That's right. And still relevant. Still how many people came in between that are still not around that had big records? Yeah. There's a big difference than being an artist or a song. Some people are a song. Yep. Or two. Yeah. And some people are artists. And when you're an artist and a true talent, when the songs die, you still are around. Like Little Kim still makes a lot of money every year. She's still a brand bigger, right? Yeah, it doesn't really matter where the song is, right? It's where she is because she's a true talent and she has a rock. She can play Vegas tomorrow and run a 2-hour show and you'll never get bored with the songs you hear.
No, you're right. You're right. So, I mean, you've worked with countless people and I'm sure you get approached by artists and talent all the time asking for guidance or asking for them or for you to manage them. What are some things that you look for in a person or potential artist before you decide to sign on as their manager?
Now at my age, the least headaches you are, the better it is for me, right? Right. There was a time when it was like, I don't care how big of a headache this artist is, I'll go through it with them. Now I'm just like, the least headaches you are, the easier it is for me, right? Right. Because at some point you get, it's peace of mind that's more important, right? Right. But I also look at how hungry they are, how engaged they are, because you work with artists, right? Right. And I figured that out in the recent years. I worked with some artists, and they expect you to chase them. Right? And I don't do the chase you thing, right? I sit back and go like, when you're a brand new artist, I'm more famous than you are. Yeah. Right? Facts. Right? So I'm not chasing you. You should be beating my door down and making sure I don't forget you. Right. Right. And some artists, they'll come out, boom, I'm cool. And it's arrogance and it's ego. And I go, no, you want to make sure, even at the labels, people say, well, my label don't look out for me. I said, how often have you been up there? Do you ever think to talk to the executives outside of beefing with them about how much they're playing your music or how much they work in your music? I said, the important part of it is, and I taught that to Cam, that's why he used to go through everybody's office once a week, right? Right. I tell him, a promotions guy at a label makes the same amount of money whether your record hits or 5 other people hit. What is their incentive to care about promoting your record? That's real. And so you have to engage people a lot better. You have to follow up with people. You got, hey, how you doing? If you got to send flowers, or what this person likes, they like this type of artist, or this kind of, try to get them tickets, whatever you can to keep people focused on you. So they say, they go, okay, I'll fuck with this person, and this is somebody I'd work with, right? Yeah. Me personally, it's peace of mind. Like I look at some great talent, right? And you probably be surprised if I list some of the talents I've passed on. You'd be like, why? I just saw a headache coming. So when do you like know, okay, this is something that I need to like continue to move forward with? You're in bed with somebody. Is this somebody I need to move forward with? Or like, I don't know if I'm going to get my return on investment. Like what are some things that you look for, or what are those crossroads that you come to that you have to make that decision? Because I think every manager at a certain point in time has to make that decision when to cut ties and when to keep going. For me these days, what I used to do, you know, back in the days, it was hard to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you just stuck with the artist and took the abuse until they fired you, or you just fired them, right?
Right.
These days, social media is a perfect thing with technology. Is you have the capability to find out if something is catching legs pretty fast, right? So there's research. You go to Chart Matrix, and it'll go, hey, this is picking legs, this is reacting, that's reacting. You put out a couple of records on an artist and it's not reacting, and then the artist is an asshole, it might be best to just cut ties now, because if they get it, if you know, you could be wasting your money, right?
Right.
But for me, to be honest, is if I identify an instant asshole, I just walk away, because all you're doing is building somebody into an enemy, right? So you make them famous, and they look at you and they turn on you anyway. Right. And so you better off just be like, let me just not waste my time, because then you spend your time trying to get your money later on, right? Right. So when they have a much bigger voice. And so it's best to just read people as much as you can and try to figure out at the beginning, like, if I'm clashing with you this much, maybe I just need to, you know, cut ties now. But usually I go in and I stick to, if I like you and you're loyal, I'll stick to you for years, taking a loss, because I'm not going to choose to work with you unless I feel like there's talent. And sometimes it takes a while to identify the right record, right? Right. So it was many records between Cardi B, the stripper, and Bodak Yellow. Right. Right. Yeah, there was 2 mixtapes. People think, you know, that album was the first album. There was 2 other records.
Absolutely not. I remember her early stuff too.
Yes. She was still, so it takes a while to get there. But if you feel like you got somebody down with you and y'all working towards it, you go hard and keep it going.
That makes a lot of sense. So what advice would you give to newer managers who are either just starting out, or it might be that homeboy that their homie hit a lick, they got a song popping, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in a situation where their phone is ringing off the hook. Yeah. Like, what advice would you give to those people? The art.
If it's your first, not to cut you off, if it's your first one, seek out an established manager to partner with. Okay. Because if the artist gets big enough, they're going to do it to you anyway. You're going to shift into homeboy gear anyway, right? Right. And so at the end of the day, seek out a major manager, seek out, you know, Blueprint, seek out, Maverick, seek out major managers and say, hey, I got an artist that's popping, or somebody who has the knowledge and intelligence. I got an artist that's popping. I'm new, right? And I need to get the best for the artist. The artist will respect you in that you brought in some firepower. And what they can do is protect, you know, your interests also as a new manager. Because what happens is, you know, if it gets big enough, the big guys are coming anyway.
That's right.
So you need to kind of bring someone in so that you secure your position. So I usually tell new managers that you're gonna get burnt the first few times, because they're gonna always say, yeah, you're my boy, but Rock Nation can do a better job, right? And then you're in a weird place, right? Or you're my boy, but Maverick can. So it's better to just say, hey, Rock Nation, I got an artist that's bubbling, that's popping. Can I partner with you guys now? And when we get to a certain point, you guys, you know, help me, and that protects you.
Smart. Yeah.
I learned the hard way.
but that's good thinking, because a lot of people don't look at that. They say, oh, I got this. This is my homeboy. We gonna get rich together. I ain't splitting it with nobody. And then
how many times have we seen that?
Too many times.
Then the homeboy is like, it's like, what are you doing now? I carry the DJ's bag. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's just, it hurts, but at the end of the day, you got to be a lot smarter these days. It's not about ego.
No, that's real, man. As always, like, I always enjoy our conversations because I learn so much from them. I'm just going to wrap it up on this last question. You know, we talked about 2020 being a very interesting year, but it's also been a year for self-reflection. Yes. Because a lot of us have had to sit down and keep really look at ourselves. Look at ourselves and figure stuff out. There's been a lot of self-actualization. I know I've had my moments. I'm sure you had as well. Yes. What things have you kind of like either realized about yourself or realized about life in general during this time?
What I realized about myself is I like myself. You know, because I've been alone, right? I've been quarantined. Right. And I realized that I actually enjoy my company, right? Not being funny, but also I've the one thing that came to me that's interesting enough is I told myself, you know, decision making is important, right? Because, you know, you go through things, you're saying, okay, you you deal with betrayal, you deal with this in the business, you deal with that in the business, you deal with good, you deal with bad, and you say to yourself, you know what? This is the bad person, or that person did this to me, or that person did that to me, right? And then one day I sat back and thought to myself, and I said, what decision making did I put into choosing that person, right? So there's 10 people come to me and say, it's like when you're dating, you know, and you got 10 women that want to date you, but you choose one.
Right.
And then she cheats on you. And then you go out, you go through this, oh, fuck her. And then you go to 10 more women.
Right.
And then you choose another one. It's like, fuck her. You know, and then you got to say, wait. I'm choosing these people. I'm the one who's saying no to 9 and yes to 1. Right. And I have to look at what my decision making and begin to critique how I choose to associate, how I choose to deal with people. You understand that? And all of that. Like, those are the things that's, you know, that I reflected on recently. And then, like I said earlier, I realized that 70% of my portfolio was non-essential.
That's real.
And that made me shift my entire perspective on the world, because I knew we were going to deal in a virtual world soon, right? And I was like, you know, I have to leverage, you know, I have to be a lot more leveraged in stuff that's not, you know, requiring me to be outside every day.
Yep.
Right? Because the next time there's a pandemic and they go, right, I'm not sitting in the house going, why did I just lose this much money? You know? Right.
No,
that's important. Those are the most, that was, you know, so those are the things that what I learned over this pandemic, and my respect for how I'm watching the next generation, which I have at some point have been questioning. And then I was like, wow, they changed the world. Yeah. Like, all I've been doing is bailing people out, you know what I'm trying to say, giving them information. Right. Hey, you need resources. You know, y'all doing a great job. Yeah. What's the next move? Hey, well, here's how legislation works. Here's what elections work. I'm just giving information out to them and backing away. Like, listen, I don't want y'all to stop ever. No, so I feel really good.
Yeah, no, we need that, man. One thing I've been saying is we need to stay engaged politically, socially, and economically, because that's the only way we're going to get change. And it can't be an either or. So everybody has a part to play. So, you know, you doing what you're doing, giving advice, because, you know, we need that. real talk. Yeah. And even though I'm an older millennial, I still need that. You know? Yes. So Again, I appreciate all the advice that you've given me over the years. I appreciate this conversation.
Yes, my brother.
Let's continue. You keep the dialogue going, man. So
yes, sir.
Thank you again.
Thank you, my brother.
We'll talk soon. Be safe.
You too.
All right.